Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to do my best to explain the very best way for you guys to get started in the NFT space. So first of all, obviously I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice. These are just my opinions, so take that how you see fit. So in my opinion, the very best way to get started in the NFT space is to get a little bit of money, flip your first few projects, make a little bit of money, flip another few projects until eventually you have enough liquidity to be able to buy and hold some projects for the long run while you're also flipping other projects on the side. Because the reality is that while some of these projects will be long-term winners, 99% of these projects are best to just be flipped. Now, before we dive in, make sure to hit the subscribe button, like, and turn on post notifications if you find any of this content valuable. It would be greatly appreciated. Now, just to start this video off, the first mint I ever minted, I paid about $400, and within the first 24 hours, the floor price was sitting at about 1.2K. The second project I ever minted, I minted for about $450, and the floor price within 36 hours was sitting at about 3.2K. Now, the reason I'm telling you guys that is because I did not know what I know now, and I did not sell any of those projects. Because of course, when you first get into the NFT space, if you find the right project, you think they're gonna moon, and maybe some of them will, but it takes time. And the reality is when you're starting, you probably don't have enough liquidity to hold you over holding certain projects while being able to buy and flip others. Because if I had just flipped those first two projects that I got into, which only cost me about 500 to $1,000, I would have made 2 Ethereum, and I would have been way better off being able to buy and hold other projects while flipping others at the same time, because I would have had way more liquidity. Now, obviously the golden question becomes which projects are the right projects to get in, because when it comes down to it, when you're first starting, you picking the right project could be a make or break for you in the space, especially if you only have a little bit to play around with. So I'm going to go over finding good projects and assessing their level of probable sellout in this video. So yeah, let's just dive in. So first off, I just want to show you this Notion document I have set up here. I'll just open it up in another tab. So this is something I use. It does need to be updated. And these are just like the main projects that I'm interested in within a shorter period of time. I've got literally hundreds of projects, circulating in my Discord that I look at every day and all this stuff. But these are the projects that I've kind of filtered out and said, okay, these are ones that I think have potential. And so if we break this down, I've got the project name, I've got whether or not I'm whitelisted on, I've got the date, so that way I can come back and remember, oh, hey, this is actually supposed to be minting. I've got the mint price in Ethereum. I've got the total maximum amount of mints, at least when it comes to pre-sale and whitelist sale, not necessarily the public sale, it's probably more. The total token quantity for the mint, the total amount of members that were in the Discord at the time I created them. So like for instance, the time I created Crocs, there were 19,400 members. Now there might be more. This tab is my level of certainty. So if it says not certain, that means I'm certain it's not going to sell out. If it says certain, it means I'm certain it's going to sell out. If it says not uncertain, it means I'm just really not sure. And then I've got the Discord links if I ever need them. So the reason I'm telling you guys that is just so you know, I do vet these projects. I do a lot of research because there's so many projects that come out every single day. So it's important to make sure that the projects you do mint have a high probability of minting out. Because if they can't even mint out, then they're going to have a serious problem and your money's going to have a problem, because you're probably not going to find people to buy your NFT, and then you're not going to have any liquidity. So I want to go over an example of why I have certain projects marked off as not certain that have 40,000 members and projects that I have as certain that have 16,000 members. And what I've seen a lot of recently is projects that have 10,000 members, 20,000 members, and their mint will sell out in an hour or two. And then I've seen projects that have 100,000 members or 200,000 members, and they cannot even sell out at all. And there's been plenty of projects, and I'll go ahead and show you guys an example right now. So let's go ahead and start off with these first two. Both of these projects I had whitelist access to, but I did not mint either of them because I basically, through my research, came to the conclusion that these were not going to sell out, and they did not. So I'm going to go ahead and show you those. So the first one we have is called Battle Punk Arena. I was initially interested in this because of the art. It's another pixelated collection. These pixelated collections do tend to do quite well, especially right after the mint, before the reveal. They tend to anywhere from 3 to 10x. As you can see, they currently have 40,000 members. They definitely did a cleansing because I'd say about a week ago they had about 60,000 members, maybe 70. And keep in mind, guys, I don't want to bag on any of these projects. I'm simply showing you guys for educational purposes because this is the reality of the NFT space. You know, this project had 60,000 members when they launched, and if we check their OpenSea right now, these guys launched 4.5 days ago, and as you can see, they were only able to mint out 1.1k items out of 10,000. I hate to say it, but that's a total flop. If you get trapped into one of these projects, you're pretty much screwed, because if people see that they can't even mint out, none of these people, no matter how rare of an item they got, no one is going to be able to sell it to another buyer. So they're kind of stuck. And so as I talked about in my other video, when it comes to finding new projects, a big thing that I do is I go through the community and I vet the community. I vet their level of interest. I see how they're interacting with each other. I see what they're talking about. You know, I do all these things because, as I explained in that video, the community is the edifice for any project. If there's not a strong community that's going to mint out the project, it's really not going to have any chance when it comes to trading on the secondary market, because what gets volume going and what gets buyers interested is the community hyping up the project, minting it out, getting the secondary volume going on OpenSea or whatever platform that's being used, and then new potential buyers and investors coming in, jumping on the train, FOMOing in, and all of that. So it's incredibly important to check out the community, because if the community isn't going to mint it out, the project is probably going to fail. So their sneak peeks are now gone, so I can't really show you. But a big red flag is that any time that they posted giveaways or announcements, huge red flag here. So like I said, they had around 60,000 members, but if you go down and you look at these reactions, you can see that these reactions just simply do not reflect how many members are inside of this Discord. And maybe the members really are here, but it just means that people really aren't hyped about this server or this project. Maybe they just jumped in because they got invited or they wanted to get whitelisted or whatever it is, but the invites just simply aren't there. So that was a huge red flag. And it's the same exact thing with IMX Kaijus. These guys failed to mint out. Their public mint was 3 days ago. Looks like they still have well over 1,000 left. And if you go and look at their sneak peeks, they've got 22,000 members in their server, but the reactions just aren't there. Like, this does not reflect the level of people in the server, compared to if we go to a project that I am whitelisted on, that I'm absolutely going to mint. This one has 19,000 members, and look at the amount of reactions we're seeing in this server. You know, the reactions definitely reflect the number. 1,000 plus reactions on this one, 1,000 plus reactions on this one, 1,000 plus reactions on this one. You can see that people are super excited and invested in this community. And if we go into the actual chats, you can see, you know, one thing I look out for is I look at the time and I look at the current time. And if you notice, like 3 messages just came in right away, all saying 1:30 a.m. So I'll go in, I'll look at the timestamps, and you can see all the messages that we can see right now have been sent in the same 60-second period. And what's amazing is that this is not a level grinding server. You get no perks for just spamming and grinding in this particular server. This is just simply how hyped the community is for this project, and they're engaging with each other, they're excited, and they just simply want to be in the community and talk. So seeing things like this is an incredibly bullish sign, especially on a server that requires no grinding for XP to get whitelisted. And yeah, that's basically it. I'll go ahead and show you guys another project. Again, I've talked about this one, Society of Derivative Apes. When they launched, they only had 16,000 members. They had no problem selling out in less than 30 seconds in their public sale. This one is kind of funny. So these guys had 172,000 members. I think they had around 190,000 at launch. And I just had a feeling these guys were going to flop as well. They had almost 200,000 members, and when they launched, they were only able to sell out 4,000. And so they reduced the entire cap of their project down to 5,000. So they actually burned 5,000, half their supply of tokens. So another thing you guys need to be aware of is a completely different type of flop. And if we look at this club called Rich Bulls Club, it's really just a knockoff of Fat Ape Club. They're doing the same thing, same mint price, you know, same minimum SPA. You know, if you mint a certain bull, you win a Lambo or a McLaren. So it's clearly just a knockoff of Fat Ape Club, but the team is fully doxed, and it does look like they have some experience. So I was potentially interested in buying in and flipping this project because I do think the hype is there. But here is the other scenario that you guys need to watch out for, and this is super common in this space, and it can really screw you over. If we go to their chat, you can see you do not have permission to send in this channel. They had to disable their chat because their contracts completely flopped. If we go over to OpenSea, you can see they've only minted 836 items total, and that's because when they deployed their contract and people were trying to mint it, apparently they had a ton of members who spent $500, $600, $700, $800 on gas, and their transactions failed because the contracts were just simply not optimized for the minting process. So another thing you guys have to be really careful of is projects that are getting rushed and they're deploying their contracts too fast without making sure that the code is perfectly written, everything's optimized, because you guys have to understand every NFT is a coded Ethereum contract. So if the developers are not good and if their code isn't good, it is not going to be good for the project and it's not going to be good for you. So that's that. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I don't want to spend too much more time on that. But again, I'll just show you guys this server only has 16,000 members. If we hop into their sneak peeks, you can see their level of engagement relative to the amount of members they have is just really good. And if we hop into their chat, it's going to be the same thing. This server, again, is not a grinding chat. So all of this is just pure organic people interacting with the communities. We can see all these replies. People are just simply excited about this project. And these are the type of things that are incredibly important and you don't want to overlook, and you want to make sure that the project you're looking to mint has these things. Now, on the other hand, some projects are whitelist only, and you're only going to be able to mint them if you get the whitelist. So I want to tell you guys about getting whitelist spots, how you can get them, and why it is worth your time. So MetaStonez, Wolves, and Divine Wolves are going to be whitelist only, including Project 333. So no matter what, I'll be guaranteed to mint at least one of these. And basically how you get whitelisted in these ones, Wolves, MetaStonez, and Divine Wolves, is by either being super early, which I was for Divine Wolves, by participating in community events and quizzes and games, or with Wolves, just by participating in the chat and being friendly in the community, and mods and admins will, maybe recognize you over time, see that you're engaged with the community, you're engaged in the project, you really like it, and they will reward you with a whitelist spot. But there are a ton of projects such as Slotties that you can actually grind your way to the whitelist. If we go to Slotties, you can see they've got 93,000 members. If we go to their sneak peeks, you can see that their engagement is great. They're getting a lot of engagement, they're getting a lot of reactions. Now, obviously, if you compare the ratio of this to something like Wolves or Divine Wolves, these are about the same, but it's not a big deal because if the initial hype is there, if there's just enough engagement in people to mint out the project, that's really all you need. So for me, this is good enough. I already know for sure people are super hyped about this project. And so I did manage to get in a bit early. And to get whitelisted on this project, I just had to get 3 invites and grind my way to level 3. So if you don't know, as I said in a previous video, make sure you watch those videos. Discord is the go-to for all NFT projects. A lot of them, you have a leveling system in Discord. So every message you send, maybe you'll get like 7 EXP. And that EXP will contribute to a leveling system where you level up in these Discord chats, and maybe you'll get different roles. So if we head over to general, this one, I would assume the chat is absolutely blowing up, as you can see, because people are trying to get whitelisted. So in this type of scenario, a lot of this chat isn't organic because people are basically just typing a message every 60 seconds to get XP to reward them. So at the moment, to get whitelisted, you have to invite 15 verified friends. 5 of them must be level 3, and you also have to reach level 10. The other option is you invite 40 verified friends. So they have to be, verified Discord members that are not bots. And you can see that alone just seems like a crazy grind, and that's essentially what everyone's doing in the general chat. So what I did when I first joined the server, they only required 3 invites and level 3, and I knew that was going to be a breeze. So I just hopped in, spent an hour grinding away. I actually did want to engage in the chat and talk to the community, so I was sending actual messages. And while you might think that is a total waste of time, and why would you be wasting your life spending an hour typing away in a Discord chat, some of these people are literally spending 10, 12, 15 hours a day just grinding away to get these levels and these invites just to get a single whitelist spot. And the reason they're doing that is because you have to understand, while it might seem like a complete waste of time, that single hour I spent grinding away, or maybe for these people 10, 12, 15 hours, gives them a guaranteed mint to mint at least one piece out of this collection. With all of the collections I've minted, as I've said, they've all done at least a 3 to 10x after mint pre-reveal. Super happy to say that, and that is because I make sure to do my own very thorough research. So my point is, if you choose the right project and you grind for a mint, that single mint could be worth a a couple $1,000s. Now think about this, the pre-sale mint price on this particular project, and I'm just using this project as an example. There's plenty of other great ones that have done a 10x after mint, and it's so much more worth it. But for this one particular, since we're on it, I'll just explain. The pre-sale price is 0.08 Ethereum, which currently is about $360. And then obviously you have to factor in gas. But when the public sale goes live, that price is going to drop to 0.168 Ethereum, which if we multiply that by 2, that's $720 for the public sale. And because there's so much hype and awareness around this project, the probability of the public sale mint going from 0.16 to 0.32, so double, or even a 3x to 0.48 ETH is very, very probable. So worst case scenario, I spent an hour of my life being able to mint something at 0.08 ETH and very likely being able to sell that for 0.3 ETH, probably within just 10 to 12 hours. So if we do the math on that, 1 hour of my life, I spent $360 on the token. If the public sale price just doubles, the token will be going for $13.80. So that's a quick $1,000 profit. Now, if the public price triples, which I do think will probably happen, maybe even a 4x, that would be a quick $1.8 thousand profit for 1 hour of work essentially. So when you look at it that way and you do the math and you find the right projects, what's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 hours, or even 10 hours grinding on a project to get whitelisted, and being able to sell just 1 or 2 of your mints for a couple $1,000s profit. So if you ask me, there's absolutely no shame in this method, because at the end of the day, if you're picking the right projects, this is gonna get you paid, and it's gonna get you paid well. You only get XP every 60 seconds. So if you keep finding the right servers, you can type in these servers, on multiple tabs or browsers or devices, and you can get whitelisted on a bunch of projects at once, assuming you also get the invites. And yeah, it does come back to picking the right projects, but if you stick with me, if you stick with this YouTube channel, all of the projects that I show you guys are solid projects that I personally vet. But just know, if I'm talking about a project, it's because I've done the research. I really believe in it, and I think that there is a very high probability that the project will sell out. And if it does sell out, you can assume that the project will do at least a 2 to 3x off the mint price prior to the reveal. So another thing I like to do if I'm not sure if a project is going to sell out or not, if I'm uncertain but I am expecting something to come from it, I'll wait till they deploy the contract, and I'll either go straight on Etherscan and see how fast they're minting out, or the easier way is just to go to their OpenSea, because they'll all post their OpenSea before they start minting, so that you can be sure that it is the right OpenSea if you want to go on the secondary to buy or sell these. And what I'll do is, as soon as they deploy the contract for either whitelist or public minting, I'll keep refreshing the page and I'll see how many people are actually minting these. And so this is another example of a project, unfortunately, that completely flopped because they rushed their contracts. The contracts just simply were not ready to mint. The code was bad. And as you can see, only 1.8K items were minted, and this launched like a week ago out of 10,000. So what I did when this actually launched is, besides looking in the chat and see what people were talking about, I was viewing the contract and I was viewing them on OpenSea, and you could just see that the mints were going stagnant, and also people were talking. Somehow that last video clip got corrupted, which is unfortunate because I definitely shared some super woke, utopian, secret of life, infinite wisdom, reversible aging, time traveling type shit. So I guess we'll just have to settle with this. So what I was trying to tell you guys is that if you go on OpenSea or Etherscan, OpenSea is easier, and you keep refreshing the data as the mints keep taking place, you'll start to notice when you look and refresh the data on OpenSea or the Etherscan contract, if the project is minting out, it'll slowly mint out, and then all of a sudden there will be this point in time where it goes parabolic. And essentially what that is the FOMO pump. It's other people watching to see if the project is going to mint out. And then once it gets to around 70 or 80%, assuming that it's still within the same day or a couple hours since the mint started, we'll start to see a massive FOMO pump, again around 70 or 80%. And that is when you should probably get in if you're still on the fence, because that is when imminent sellout is likely to happen, because everyone else who is on the fence sees that it's about to sell out and they jump in, and then it happens quite quickly. So that's another way that you can check if you're on the fence. Just focus on finding the right projects and then simply flip them. Don't get attached to them. Don't get emotionally attached. The first few projects that I got into, everyone thinks their project is going to moon, it's going to go to 10 ETH, it's going to 100x. But the reality is that, yes, some of them will, but most of them are not going to. So find the right projects. Take those quick bags. I mean, think about it, guys. Making $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 within 24 hours, flipping a couple JPEGs. At the end of the day, profit is profit. If the project that you pick and flip ends up mooning one day, that's okay. You still made money. It's not a big deal. You will be so much better off if you pick your projects correctly, you flip them, you secure those bags, and reinvest those into more projects. Because the reality is, the more you flip the right projects, the more liquidity you're going to have, which means the more that you can mint, which means the more that you can flip, which means the more that you can make, which also means the more you're eventually going to have to actually buy into projects and hold them and not worry about your liquidity being locked up, because you'll still have plenty of money, or in this case, Ethereum, to spend on other projects to either buy or flip. I'll definitely be dropping more projects. You know, I'll go ahead and drop one for you guys right now. So one project that I will definitely be minting, or at least I'm 99% sure I will be, is this project called MetaStonez. The only way you can get into their Discord is when they drop a link, so make sure to follow them on Twitter and wait for that link to open. I love these types of servers because they aren't grinding and invite servers. You basically get whitelisted by participating in the community, doing art contests, winning giveaways, completing quizzes and games, so everyone has a fair and equal chance to get whitelisted. And like I said, spending a couple hours in these projects is going to be totally worth your time, because if you can get whitelisted on a project like this that only has 1,200 in the Genesis collection, the reality is that these are easily going to be flipped for a couple $1,000s. So however many hours you put into this is going to be worth it. And like I said, you don't have to just do one project at once. You can, interact and participate in many different communities at the same time. I am whitelisted on this project, so I'm super excited. This is a project that you're only going to be able to mint because there's only going to be 1,200 in the Genesis if you're whitelisted, but when they launch the 10,100, I'm pretty sure that's going to go to public mint. I'm not sure. Definitely keep an eye out on MetaStonez. I'll go ahead and show you guys some sneak peeks. Oh, and by the way, the creator of this collection is fully doxed. I know I haven't talked too much about whether fully doxed has a huge impact or not. I do think that sometimes it does, but if you're just trying to make a quick flip, a lot of times it really doesn't. The only times I think it makes a major difference is if, if you just sense like the community is like unsure or uncertain, or if you're looking to be in the project for the long run, then I probably wouldn't want to hold a project for the long run with a team that's not fully doxed. Like if Society of Derivative Apes was not doxed, I probably wouldn't be holding those for the long run. Probably would have just sold mine for a quick 6K flip, considering the floor price pre-reveal was 0.32 and I minted them for 0.04. So that's an easy 8x flip. But again, the team was doxed. I believe in the project, so I'm gonna head and hold those. Again, not financial advice. For all I know, that project could flop, but it is one I'm willing to hold. But this is MetaStonez. You can see it's another pixel collection. You can see what's really cool is that they're still working on the concepts and the art. They're sending like these rough draft sketches. They're doing art contests and giveaways. So maybe if you submit really cool art that inspires them, you will get a whitelist spot and things like that. So make sure to check these guys out. Again, I'll be making more videos soon on collections that I'm interested in, that I'm interested in mint. But do keep in mind, I do make sure to vet these collections and make sure that I'm personally likely going to mint them and that I'm super confident in them before I bring them to you guys and talk about them, because there's no sense in that. I'm not just gonna throw out a bunch of different random NFT collections just to make content. No, I want it to be super valuable for you guys so that I'm making money, you're making money, and we're all happy. So that's it, guys. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications, follow me at Blockchain Gavin, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.